Hello, hello, and welcome to the Leap to Success podcast, where we highlight incredible women entrepreneurs who are taking bold leaps in business and life. I'm your host, Mary Gaul, and I believe that success is built through connection, contribution, and celebration. Each episode, we bring you inspiring stories, expert insights, and actionable strategies to help you grow and thrive as a solopreneur. Let's dive into today's conversation. I am so excited to introduce our global podcast listeners to the Leap community member, Kelly Henriksen. She is the owner of Blog Solutions Now, which she's going to talk about with us today, but also Denver Headshots. So she just did headshots for me and family photos for my family. So love working with Kelly. So Kelly, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. So tell our listeners your story and what makes you so incredible.
Sure, yeah. Yes. So I have a company called Blog Solutions Now, which actually turns 1 year old in just a couple days. Mary, can you believe that?
Yay!
That's so
That's so
exciting.
awesome.
It's been a wonderful year. Prior to that, and still now, I am a headshot photographer. Like you mentioned, I have a studio in Denver, and I've been doing this for over 20 years. So I built Blog Solutions Now after figuring out for my photography business how to optimize my website so that search engines can find me easily and send that organic traffic to my website so I can convert them to clients. Okay, so about 5 years ago, right after the pandemic, I realized that my formal ways of marketing for my business weren't cutting it, right? So I
Mhm.
was depending on word of mouth. So previous clients talking about me and sending people my way, which was great. I did in-person networking, and then during the pandemic, that didn't happen. We moved over to Zoom. So, and then I was kind of here and there doing the social media thing. I knew that that was a great way, but I was just kind of like, hey, I'm a photographer. People will know about me. They should come find me. And I
Right.
wasn't getting the new clients that I needed. We are in a much more digital age. Think about prior to 2020, how we used our phones, but we didn't sit on Zoom like we do now.
Right.
So that's when I realized I need to get in on that digital part. So I figured out how to create and implement a digital marketing strategy for my headshot photography business. And what I learned was that that digital marketing strategy can start with a blog base, right? So I write these blogs, and that supports the rest of my digital marketing strategy. That lets me send a newsletter out easily because I talk about the content that I've written on that blog. I use that blog post that I just wrote and I create social media posts. And then I have that blog post and all those blog posts on my website as an FAQ library for my clients. And Google sees that I am actively using my website. I'm updating it. I'm putting fresh, relevant content on there. And it sees that people are coming to my website and reading it. So it sends that organic traffic to me. And when I realized that I had that buttoned down, that strategy for my business, and I could collaborate with AI to create this content for other businesses. So that's when a year ago I put into action Blog Solutions Now, and I've been able to help over this past year. I've helped so many small business owners create consistent, high quality blog content and post it to their site for them.
Love it. Yay. Congratulations. And I've been a part of this business since it started, right? So,
Yes.
full transparency, Kelly is a coaching client of mine. And so helping her take this idea out of her head and then seeing it celebrate its first year in business is so cool. I just love that you've taken that leap and said, hey, I learned this skill. It works for me in my business and I want to share that with somebody else, right? So
Yep.
that's again, when it's something completely out of your industry, that's taking a big leap. So
Huge leap. Yeah.
tell our listeners about taking kind of that leap from, okay, I've been a headshot photographer, I've done different kinds of photography, but now I'm going to use these tools and skills I've learned to do something completely different. Tell us
Yeah.
about just how the idea came about. I mean, you kind of mentioned that, but
Yeah.
really like I could make a business out of this. Tell us about that leap.
Yeah, so I was looking for some way to do something else besides just the photography, mostly because I wanted to have some kind of business where I didn't have to show up physically to
Hmm.
find, like when I have to go to a photo shoot, just in case, I just wanted
Yeah.
to figure that out in case down the road something would hinder me. I'm also a busy mom, so to not have to be physically present to make money is really important to me. So I was kind
Yeah.
of thinking around with ideas in my head, and I was really just very excited about AI and ChatGPT specifically about a year ago. I was really excited about talking with everyone about it. And I took that leap because I knew how valuable my time and my energy that I spent in my business was, and that hurdle that really held me back from going as far as I wanted to in my business with the digital marketing, I was able to overcome that. And so if I can give that feeling to other women, I'm ready to take that leap to help them because it's easy for me. It was easier for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, about a year ago I did that.
I love it. I love it. It's so good. And, entrepreneurship is a wild ride every day. As anyone who owns their own business knows, we have our ups and downs, right? So, what kind of daily habits or practices
Mm,
help keep you grounded and help keep
mhm,
you moving forward when you're
mhm.
juggling two businesses, really?
Right, right. It's a great question. The first thing that comes to mind is time blocking, which
Hmm.
I actually
Yay! I
learned.
didn't
Yeah, I
pay her
learned.
to say that,
No, 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 no. Because
right?
when you taught me, or when I saw some presentation that you did on it, I said, "Oh, I kind of already do that." Like
Yeah.
I've used Google Calendar for many times, and the default is that 1 hour block. And so, and I also have a limited amount of time that is just mine during the day when my kids aren't here. So that
Hmm.
that became so important to block out that time. It also, when I see it on my calendar and I've been like, okay, I already put that on my list. I can take it out of my head and there it is. And I have the time to work on it. And I like to
Yes.
give myself, a reasonable amount of buffer time, because sometimes a task will take a little bit longer than I expected, but sometimes it'll take less. And if I finish early, it's like a little celebration, right? So that's just a
Yeah.
positive thing throughout my day. So time blocking is how I keep myself grounded, I would say.
Nice, nice. So what kind of time blocks do you have on your calendar? Is it just like more, here's a marketing time block, here's a operations time block? How do you block out your time?
Yes. So a lot of times I'll come up with ideas in my head as I'm going, and I'll put those on there. And so I have to make sure I keep a balance of the tasks that I need to do to keep my business operating on a regular basis. But then I also want to make time for the fun stuff like that, like those
Yeah.
ideas or those things that I really want to do in my
Hmm.
business. So finding a balance between that. I always take a lunch too, if sometimes it's a half
Nice.
an hour, and try and take it away from my desk because I don't want to get burnt out. And yeah, so just keeping a balance between the stuff that I want to do and the stuff that I need to do, I think is really important. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Very good. Very good. So you mentioned taking a lunch and taking a little, break during your day, and then having these little celebration moments when you get something done faster, right? So success, at least to me, is not all about just the dollars in your bank account, right? So it's not just about us building a business, but it's about joy and fulfillment too. So what's something that truly lights you up about this work that you get to do with Blog Solutions now?
Hmm. I think it is sensing the relief that my clients feel when the task is done, and that I did for them. Like I put myself back in their shoes where I was a few years ago when, you know, it was hard work to write those blogs and to put a digital marketing strategy into place. But
Hmm.
then it felt really gratifying after I did it, and then it felt even better when I saw results from it. So I get really excited to share their analytics with them each week at the beginning of each month. That first week of each month, I go in and I look at my clients' analytics for them, and I tell them these little pieces that are the valuable data that we want to use that measures how the blogs are doing,
Hmm.
and to just hear their reaction or to feel and see their reaction to that little piece of data is super rewarding for me. Um, and when I can see that my clients get a little bit more, maybe more confidence in themselves and in their business from having the rewards of blogging on a regular basis. Like you said, it's not just about the money, but really about the connection that they get to make with those new clients, and see that the work that they're doing is paying off.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And so, Kelly, I love that you bring in the analytics piece because, as we mentioned, Kelly just did a Thrive Thursday masterclass for our Leap community as well. So you can find that on our YouTube channel if you want to go back and learn more from Kelly. But in that masterclass, you were talking about we talked about the analytics, and that as small business owners, there's so much data that comes at us and we don't even know how to analyze some of the data. We just can be looking at numbers all the time and not understanding what those numbers mean as far as either getting numbers in the door, getting new clients in the door, or how that, our efforts are working. So I love that you help us to understand those numbers
Yeah.
as part of the service that you provide, right? And that does
Yeah.
provide so much relief to busy business owners.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we look at the direct traffic from search engines and or to the website, and then the organic traffic to the website. And so the hardest thing to get is that organic traffic, right? Because you want to have a good relationship with the search engines. Google, we're just going
Mhm.
to say Google. You want to have a good relationship with Google so that they send you those people who are typing into their bar what restaurants near me or
Right.
photographers near me, headshot photographer near me, right? You want to have a good relationship with them. And so looking at the analytics, we can use that data to just continue to refine that relationship and see what has been working. Maybe we see what doesn't work, and then
Yeah.
we adjust our strategy as we're going along using the blogs. But really, just the consistent, high quality content is the action plan to reach that goal of increasing organic traffic.
Yeah. And one reason outsourcing to somebody like you with Blog Solutions Now is if we are in our business and we feel like, well, I'm the only one that can write about my industry, right? I'm the only one that can know how to write about this, right? Because it's so technical, or I have this many years of expertise, or whatever, nobody could write for me, right? But now with AI tools, that is really possible for you to know a lot about a different industry, a bunch of different industries, and
Right.
sound knowledgeable. And so how do you kind of help clients overcome that hurdle? Like, you could never write as good as me, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is actually a true statement. I would
Hmm.
never be able to write as good as them if they're authority. They know what's going on in the industry. That's why the process is pretty hands-on. It's a high touch in the sense that it takes the stuff off your plate, but you still get to be a part of it. So it's a lot of me figuring out who the ideal client is and really answering those frequently asked questions that those clients are going to be asking so that I can connect those questions with my clients can have those answers available to answer those questions. And then we collaborate with AI, and AI knows about all the industries, right? So
Yeah.
then, but there's a special tone that a client will want. There are certain if you're talking to a certain demographic, say a mom or even like a corporate lawyer, is someone who I might talk to with Denver Headshots, there's a way that you're going to format that article and you're going to use different wording to talk to each of those people. So that's where my skills as a certified SEO specialist come into play. And then I send the draft of that article to my client who is the expert, and then they look it over. More often than not, they're like, this looks amazing. We're good to go. Because there's a lot of
Yeah.
upfront research and a lot of studying, and then that AI as the tool where it doesn't have to rack my brain or even my client's brain to get the right information out there.
Yeah, wonderful,
Mhm.
wonderful. And again, if your industry is highly technical and you need to write technical stuff, AI can be a good starter, but then you always want to edit and that
Go
kind
in
of
and
stuff.
refine it.
So how do you work with your clients to make sure that they feel like they get a chance to edit their blog posts and that kind of thing before they get
Mm.
posted?
Yeah, so it's a 6-month package that we work together, and we pick out the blog post titles for the full 6 month in advance. But then each month we write the articles a month in advance. So there's a 30-day time period where we are writing back and forth through emails, and I'm sending drafts, and then I'm updating the drafts, and then we're approving it for final posting. To speak on the part about the technical aspects
Mhm.
of each industry, that's absolutely important to have, but that's almost something that's going to talk to someone at the bottom of the funnel, right? Whereas your blog is going to be a little bit more geared towards the top of the funnel. We want to be
Oh,
answering and
yeah.
having content that's going to speak to more people to bring them in. And then once they get in, hopefully they'll get to your website, and then there will be some links either within the blog or there will be appropriate buttons. Your website will be ready to convert those clients. So that's going to lead them to the information that's going to be more technical that the business owner is really going to be spending the most time on. That's a prime
Yeah.
example of how we take care, you can delegate the tasks that don't necessarily have to have that fine-tuned expertise. So
Nice,
answering those
nice.
general questions that people are going to put on Google is really what's important for the blogs, right? Is to get those
Yeah.
people to there, and then your website is going to have all of that information that they can click around and find.
Nice. That's a great explanation of it because I do know a lot of people, and I think that's part of the perfectionist gene, right? Is that, oh, I have to write it myself and it has to be all this technical stuff. And the brilliance of having somebody else write it based on questions that people are asking is that we don't get stuck in that professional or the procrastinate. Oh, perfectionism, that's the word I was like.
Yeah,
It's like it starts with a P, perfectionism, right? And so a lot of people write blogs, but they never post them or they never send the newsletter out
yeah,
because
yeah,
they're worried like I constantly have to be tweaking it or I didn't address this or I have to give all the information that I know in everything in this 600 word article, right? So that's another reason why outsourcing that can help. And then you reminding them, this is for the top of your funnel. This is for the get to know you people, right? It's not for the technical of how you might work with somebody. There might be some of those blogs in there,
yeah,
but the real detailed information is going to be found on your website or in a one-on-one call with you, right? But it's to get more people to see your information in the first place. So I love
yeah,
that clarification.
yeah,
And helping people get over that perfectionism to get that consistent message out there, right? Because that's the key piece is yes, it needs to be relevant to what your website is and what your audience needs to hear, but it also has to be consistent. You can't just do it once every 6 weeks and put a blog up there and expect to get
yeah.
people to find it, right? So
Right.
yeah.
That's a big piece of the SEO. The Google likes to see that you are alive and well and you're interested in sharing your wealth of knowledge, like not being greedy with it, and that you are active in your business. And that's posting regular blogs is a great way to do that. And it also is a great way to organize it, right? Because your
Mhm.
blog isn't on, you don't have to go and mess with the beautiful content that the design of your website already by posting stuff. You have a blog that is a clickable, that it's off the main page of your website, and it is set up to look pretty and nice and hold lots of information. So
Mhm.
it's a great way to refresh your website on a regular basis.
Yes, yes. And so that way, if you've got a website that's got 15 pages, but the only page that's getting new content is your blog page, that still counts, right? You don't have to update
Yes,
all 15 pages of your website.
right,
As long as
right.
something on your website is updated, the algorithms will find it and make sure that it's okay. This is still a legitimate website. People are looking for this information. They're clicking here, so let's keep serving that up to people who are searching for that, which is awesome.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
And most likely when people are going to your blog, if we're getting them to your website, they're going to see some stuff. They're going to be curious about the rest of your website. So they're going to
right.
click through to the other pages on your website, and Google notices that. They see how many visits, where it goes from here to here to here to here to here. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's really the trick of getting them to your website. That's what we can help you with.
Love it, love it. So in your Thrive Thursday masterclass, you talked about some myths about blogs that kind of people are hearing out there, right? Like every kind of way to get out in front of clients is dead, of course, right? So social media is dead. Oh, blogging's dead. Now email newsletters are dead, right? So everything's dead at once, but they all still keep working depending on what your business is, right? Again, I think
Yeah.
that key is the consistency and the
Yeah.
relevant messages. So as long as you've got that, whatever platform you're using to get in front of your clients, consistent and what, it's information they want to hear, I think you're going to be better off than if you just sporadically did a few things here or there and didn't have a plan, right? So,
It's true. It's
so,
true.
so walk us through some of the myths about blogging right now.
Yeah, so they talk about how blogging doesn't actually, I'm going to pull that up because there's some
Yeah.
key points on there that I want to talk about. Here it is.
And you're
Okay.
welcome to
So,
share your screen for those people. This will be
oh,
recorded video, but some people will be listening on audio. But if you're watching this on YouTube or any of the other ways you might be listening to the podcast, you can watch the video. And
let's
we'll
just
put
go.
all of Kelly's contact information. Again, if you're just listening on any of the podcast streaming platforms, we'll have Kelly's information in the show notes so that you can make sure you can connect with Kelly and
Yay.
have a conversation with her.
Yay, that's great. So here's a myth that nobody reads blogs anymore, and let's debunk it, because HubSpot says that 77% of internet users still read blogs regularly, be it a blog that you subscribe to. It might not be labeled blog, like on my
Right.
photography websites, I have a button that says blog, but that's where a lot of people are like, oh, I don't read a blog, and you're like, oh, but you really are, and you don't even know it. Like, it's an article that's published on a regular basis, and it's written for the intention of sharing information and bringing it to the website. So
Mhm.
if you think about how people type into Google different questions every day, and then that Google sends them to a blog because the blog answers that question. So for example, best running shoes for beginners. There is a shoe manufacturing company or a local shoe shop that is working so hard to be the first one that can answer that question on Google by posting regular content and putting their blog out there so that Google finds it to answer that question, because they want those people who are looking for running shoes to come into their store and buy their running shoes, right?
Mhm.
Another example would be how to write an email pitch. I think a sales coach is going to be answering that question in their blogs like crazy. They should be. That's a skill that they can help someone with if they hire them. So that's how blogs are being read. And then even short form content, social media, TikTok and Instagram, the videos and the photos that people are sharing on there are most likely hoping to attract people that are going to come and buy something from them, either a service or a product, that leads to sharing even more information. They're going to put a link to their website that shares more information related to the video or the picture that they shared, and then is going to help close them in as a client. So, if you
Mhm.
ever search for best restaurants near me, you're going to most likely be linked to a blog that Yelp wrote or a local company, the city wrote, just because blogging is really easy to share that information and then convert people to clients. Um, Here's the
Nice.
second myth. Blogging doesn't work for lead generation. Again, 61% of US consumers have made a purchase because of a blog post. There are blogs out there that are specifically monetized just to advertise products, and people write blogs because they have their SEO so primed in.
Mhm.
And then business to businesses, marketers who blog, they generate 67% more leads than those who don't. That only makes sense to me. If you're just sitting on your bum doing nothing, then at least be blogging and sharing your information so that you get out there in front of people, and then you're going to be getting those leads coming to you. And I love this last point, that blogs warm up your potential clients by building trust and answering the questions before they even contact you. I don't know
Mhm.
about you, Mary, but sometimes when I want to hire someone or do something with someone or buy a product, I want to learn about it on my own first so I don't feel bombarded with like the sales pressure. So if
Yeah.
I can go somewhere and do a little bit of research on my own, or even talk, if it's not even a blog, it's like talk to someone who's done it. I want to do that I want to do that on my own before I actually talk to the salesperson so that I don't feel uncomfortable or like I'm being sold to. So that's
Yeah.
what blogs can do. They can help make people feel better and become a lead. Um, and I talk about how on my Denver headshots, my photography business, my clients find me through my blog posts and my FAQs and social media too, so that by the time they reach out to me, they're already sold on it or they've already booked their session. And yeah, it's great.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for addressing those. So something that popped up, because I know you're a big fan of AI and you use AI in helping to create your blogs, right, for your clients. So how is the search uh, through AI helping or hindering, getting people to look at your blog?
Very interesting. Yeah, because I don't personally, I use ChatGPT for searching for my stuff
Yeah.
99% of the time now, where I used to use Google. Um,
Yeah. I
so
saw
there's
that
no way.
there's their platform, the Google platform, was a year ago was 93% of all search happened on Google, and now this last year or 2 years ago was 93. Now it's 86. So it's dropped already dramatically just because
Yeah,
people are using AI tools to be able to search for
yeah.
things. So if we're trying to get Google to send us to our blogs, to our website, is AI going to change that in the background?
Mm.
Do you think, or do you know, or
I
who
think
knows at this
I think
point?
AI, yeah, this is a really cool that's a cool thing to think about.
Yeah.
And I haven't thought about it in depth before, but I think AI is going to save time and energy, in the sense
Yes.
that people are going to be able to educate themselves on the topic a lot more. before having to go for the actual searching part, because ChatGPT is not going to directly link us to a business. We have
Right.
to take that extra step. There is though potential for ChatGPT, when it scans the internet to find the information about the stuff that you're asking for, that it may
Right.
reference your blog because you are an expert in your field, but that's not its main objective, right? Whereas that's what Google's main objective is to scan the internet, find the services, and connect the people.
Right.
But what I think
Right.
would happen, like in a personal inquiry, I would use ChatGPT to educate me, because it's quicker than having to go and read all these people's blogs. But then once I have that education, this is where keywords really come into play and are very important in your blogs and on your website. Then you're going to go into Google search and you're going to use this, you're going to have a much more refined and specific search that's going to
Right.
direct you to the expert. And you got to, so it's almost like competition of having exactly the right keywords, and having a good relationship with Google comes into play even more, because the searches aren't going to be as general anymore. You're not going to just search
Right.
restaurants near me. You're going to say, I want this dish that I heard about, I researched on ChatGPT, and I want it sold in an authentic Indian restaurant. Where's the
Yeah.
closest one to me, or where's the best one? And I don't care how far I have to drive, So it's going to be,
Right.
that research piece is going to be taken care of by ChatGPT ahead of time. So you have to do
Nice.
even higher
Nice.
quality blog posts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, because now you can hit that little internet button in chat, and it will search the internet for you. And even in Google, right now they've got their AI synopsis.
Gemini.
Whenever you do
Yeah.
a search, here's the AI synopsis, and then below that are all the links to the places you can go and find more information. So,
Yeah.
so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out with, again. But if Google knows that you have relevant content, and that
Yeah.
you're the expert because you're consistently posting that content, I can't help but think that that's going to help you, right?
Yeah.
No matter
Connect
how
the dots
AI
in that
plays
case.
into the search part of it. So, yeah,
Isn't it a crazy changing world we're in? Just to think about, a year
it
ago,
is.
this conversation wouldn't have even existed,
I know,
like,
I know. Yeah. So I love that. I love that, Kelly. So thank you again for taking the leap and being able to help entrepreneurs. Really, again, it's so powerful when we have a business that we've grown over. You've had your head shop business for how long, right?
more than 20 years.
More
Yeah.
than 20 years. So you've
2003.
learned
Right.
so much in running that business, and then being able to say, hey, this gave me such peace of mind and it made a difference and impact in my business. I'm going to take the leap and make a business out of this and be able to help other business people with that same solution. It's just, I love seeing that iteration in business. It's just
Yeah.
why we're entrepreneurs, right? We can take an
Yeah.
idea and create something brand new out of it and provide a great service to people. So
Okay.
let's see. If our listeners are on the edge of taking a leap, like maybe they have an idea that there's something that they've learned in their business and they want to share that with somebody. So if they are on the edge of taking a big leap, what's your best piece of advice for taking some
Mm.
bold action with confidence?
Mm. I mean, I'm a real go-getter, and I probably take
Yeah.
leaps more than the average person might, but I think I've just had, I just search for the positives in it. Like if you're
Mhm.
playing out how the situation, if you're putting the situation, playing it out in your head, and you're thinking of all the possibilities, make sure you really focus on the positive parts. Because it's true, I agree with being realistic and that something might not happen,
Mhm.
but really something good could happen,
Yeah.
like keep that in mind. So take the leap and just stick positive with it.
Yeah. Expect good things to happen. That's what one of my
Yeah.
clients says all the time. All right. Well, that
Great.
is a wrap on today's episode of the Leap to Success podcast. So thank you again so much, Kelly, for joining us and sharing your knowledge. It was a fun conversation today. Um, Listeners, we hope you found inspiration, motivation, and a few golden nuggets to take with you on your journey. If you love this conversation, be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening so that you can never miss an episode. And if Kelly's message today or her passion, enthusiasm resonated with you, please give her some love by sharing this episode with your community and share this information with other people. And remember, you can find all of Kelly's contact information in the show notes wherever you're listening to this podcast or watching on YouTube. So make sure and connect with her. And if you want to go deeper in the LEAP community and you want to be a member on this podcast, then please join us in the LEAP community, where you'll find even more resources, connections, and opportunities to show up and grow. You can visit us at successmagnified.com/leap for ladies to learn more. Until next time, keep taking bold leaps, contributing your gifts, and celebrating your successes.
Yay. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.